Okay.
Okay. Now in partnership with the Westport Library and Quick Center for the Arts and iTunes, it's Oh Brother, Not Another Podcast with me, Trace Burroughs.
And me, Miggs Burroughs, and our very special guest today is Jen Senko, who directed me in my starring role in The Brainwashing of My Dad, subtitle, How the Rise of the Right-Wing Media Changed the Father and Divided Our Nation, and How We Can Fight Back. So, full disclosure, it wasn't a starring role. I had a 5-second cameo in it, but I was very pleased to be in this movie, this documentary. It's amazing where we are now. And this movie was made how long ago? 5 years more?
2016 it came out.
Yeah. So 5 years ago. And how long in the making?
About three years, but 20 years thinking of it. No exaggeration.
I have a question. Did you ever get exposure, like interviewed on MSNBC or CNN about this film?
We'll see. About the movie, no. But actually, the other night, I was gobsmacked because I got an email from MSNBC to be on the Ari Melber show.
Oh.
And I had like a couple hours to get ready. But yeah, so I was on there for about 2 minutes.
Was this when was this?
Was this I think it was last Thursday.
Oh, cool. Because I watched this show. I watched MSNBC all day practically.
Yeah, I watch Ari every night, but I have to be honest, I was a teeny bit disappointed because I thought he was being kind of careful. And he had Tim Miller on, who is great. He's an ex-Republican. But it's kind of like, I don't know if he had him on for balance, but I was under the impression that I was going to be asked a lot more. I gave them, clips of the movie and like all this information. So, actually I was glad it was short because I think I would have been too nervous.
Oh, yeah.
To answer any further questions, but it's still so exciting that I was on MSNBC.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
And they talk, well, as I say, I mean, the movie came out like just, on the cusp of the Trump era, but it's all there. It was all been boiling up all before that, which you captured.
I've been calling it the slow boiling coup.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Right. That's what's happening now. Yeah.
I have another favorite term for it, the period of the great bamboozle.
It sounds too friendly.
Yeah, bamboozle sounds cute. I know there's that theory of the boiling frog. If you put it in boiling water, it jumps out. You put it in room temperature water and turn up the heat, it doesn't know it soon enough. It's too late. It's already.
That's us.
That's us. Yeah, that's you and me.
Are we cooked? Well, that's the thing. The end of your subtitle is how we can fight back. Is it too late to fight back, do you think? I mean, are we fighting back? I mean,
well, between me and you guys,
I could talk for an hour on this subject. Right? This one question.
I know. I hate to say it, but I think it is too late to fight back. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try. And, I'll go down trying. I'll go down fighting. First of all, I respectfully say there's no liberal media. I mean, it's corporate media because it's all corporate owned.
I agree.
So I never, ever say liberal media. I say corporate media or mainstream media. So, but you're not the only liberal I've heard say that. And that just goes to show you that I actually did that. I didn't do that on purpose. That the power of messaging, and that the right had messaging. So I always stop liberals and I say, MSNBC, CNN, they may try to appeal to more liberal people, but they're not. I mean, behind them, the CEOs, they care about their about paying taxes, not paying taxes, and they've got money in the pharmaceuticals and and wars and stuff like that. So there's no liberal media other than maybe some independent media outlets, like Alt-Ed or Truth Out or anything like that.
I agree.
But that's the one thing right wing, the right wing is great at, and the liberal world, the Democrats, whatever, aren't, is branding. They brand the liberal media. They brand all these things, and I don't know it's so hard about why can't we brand them? And Trump with his nicknames. Why didn't we shoot back and give him a bunch of nicknames, or his people? But everybody's like too timid about it, it seems.
I know, it was very, 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 very frustrating for me. I mean, I could see it back in the days of Clinton in the early 90s. I was like, what is going on? But I think that we don't do that. We didn't do that for a few reasons. Number one, the right had been labeling the media as liberal since 1967. When did AIM come in? Anyway, after Goldwater. They made that a mission, right?
Yeah.
To intimidate, harass, and bully and traumatize the media into bending over backwards so that they didn't appear that they were biased at all. And as they say, the truth has a liberal bias. So when people like Walter Cronkite were telling the truth about, Vietnam and, and so forth, that made the Republicans look bad. But they looked bad because they were bad. And they didn't like that. So it's like we have to change the media. They had this whole apparatus. I mean, there was a vast right-wing conspiracy. And, Hillary called it back then. She was right. There was. It was, all set up by these oligarchs and mega huge corporations. So that was one reason, is that the media was, they also had, go back and say that there were think tanks creating also like fake complaints, as if from people that, oh, you're too liberal, you're too liberal, you're too liberal. So they were the squeaky wheel, really squeaky wheel. Then secondly, I think that the media, like the Democratic politicians, were kind of almost like abused spouses. Kind of like, oh, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. And I'll try really hard. I'll try harder. I'll try harder. I'll try harder to be like you. But it's never going to be appreciated. It was like Clinton tried, was kind of leaning right. Doing away with the Glass-Steagall Act and Telecommunications Act and the crime bill and all that. And Obama really thought like, oh, I can do this because I did it at Harvard. I can unite people. No, you were never, ever, ever going to win them over. It wouldn't matter if you turned into one of them, if you still had the label Democrat, you were not going to win them over. So, and then I think that there's a third reason. I think that the Democrats, it's kind of like they try and do the right thing to a fault, You know, like when Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. No. You know why? It's because it's a different playing field. And Newt Gingrich made it clear that it was going to be a different playing field.
It was a street fight.
And then when there's war, there are different rules of engagement. And, you know, we could lose our country because we're respecting free speech, and we're respecting, we're not fighting back the way they fight.
No, the Democrats are always bringing water balloons to a street fight, you know, and the other side, you know, bring knives and guns and whatever. But anyway, some people may not even know what we're talking about. Your movie is The Brainwashing of My Dad, which is this wonderful documentary, an amazing documentary about how right-wing media changed your father into kind of a right-wing follower, right? And traumatized your family. And then there's a book. Now there's a book out, right? And is the book kind of a making of book, or how is it a companion piece?
No. This kind of ties into the first question, but I made a book because I felt like I was running around screaming with my hair on fire, you know, and that's why I made the movie. And I thought, oh, I can save the world now because I just made this movie and everybody will see it and they'll understand there's, you know, the right and oligarchs are taking over and getting all these people to vote against their own interests. But so eventually I thought, well, who did I see on these shows, news shows, or who did I hear on NPR? It would be those who wrote a book. So I said, I'm going to write a book. But then I filled the book with I have a brilliant editor, and she said, when we were first doing the movie, she said, Jen, put everything in that you want in the movie, okay? I said, but Carla, that would be a 3-hour movie. She said, that's okay. Get it like that. And then we bring it down, you know, we chisel it down. So what the book is not only the 3-hour movie, but it catches up. It brings us a little.
There's an epilogue. Any thought of a follow-up? But you've made documentary films before this, right? I mean,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So are you going to go off in another direction, do you think, or?
Well, I think for the next year, I'm going to be, you know, pushing the book out because the book says everything, and just doing interviews and speaking out where I can. And, you know, the other day I did it. I'm finding these groups now that finally are focused on media. Okay, so yesterday, I'm totally losing track of time. Tuesday, I was with this grassroots direct action group called Rise and Resist, and we went in front of Fox News in New York, and with my book. And people could earn a signed copy of the book if they read a passage out loud or if they held a sign.
Oh,
That's a good idea.
We did that. It was tremendous fun. And Kala, my editor, just made a 3-minute movie about it. So we're going to post that on YouTube and probably Facebook. But I forget the other thing I was going to say. What did you ask me again?
Oh, Trace, did you have a question?
Yeah. Have you ever?
What else I'm going to do? Oh, yeah. So I'm taking care of my 101-year-old mother. I live in New Jersey. She's kind of like the hero of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
I thought I was the hero.
I thought I
was. Remember, you came down? That was so cool. I think you discovered you were in the movie, right?
Yeah, no, it was great. Well, you would ask permission. I didn't know who, it was one of those things out of the blue. And it was like, sure, use whatever you want. I didn't know it was a real movie or who you were. And then you invited me to the premiere. and in that down in the village or wherever it was, and it was great fun. And I had one of my college ex-college girlfriends came down and videotaped us talking. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that was great that you were there. Yeah, again, Kala found that.
Oh,
she found that. Yeah.
Have you ever been interviewed by unquote the right-wing media?
No, I'm scared.
Oh, have you been asked?
I think at the beginning, when the movie first came out, but my producers, like Adam Rakoff, they were trying to protect me because they didn't want me to be like, get caught in a gotcha thing. And,
well, you got to be prepared, and be strong and steel up and have a whole rehearse in your head how you're going to respond to their crazy accusations. Yeah. But beyond that, you'd probably get death threats and,
exactly.
So.
Yeah. So right now it's just getting the word out because people say, aren't you preaching to the choir? It's like, well, the choir has to wake up.
Yeah.
The choir has to get out of the boiling pot because it's fucking boiling.
This is, let me add one more comment here.
Totally fine.
When I hear Democrats talk about these issues, and it's nonstop, I'm going insane, by the way, on all this. And I have to watch old reruns of Friends. but the thing is,
you got to try The Bachelor and The Bachelorette.
Oh, The Bachelor, Bachelorette.
Yeah, seriously.
But no politician. Senator Sanders said once while he was campaigning back several years ago that I want you to go and contact your representatives. I believe the population is so ignorant about civics and education that you have to tell them this is what you do. Now, I just recently watching Ari and all those other shows, these reps get on, these senators, and they spout all this stuff, but they don't say call to action. I want everyone listening to my voice to go and contact a representative. And this is where you find their contact information. You go to this site, but they just assume that people know this, and they don't know this. And this is, again, to circle back in, I think the Democrats are kind of as well complicit about the poor education. I mean, this should have been going on, back 20 years ago when Jay Leno used to have a thing on the street and he'd say, tell me, what's the Civil War? And someone would say, I don't know, does that have to do with Kim Kardashian or, whatever? Yeah. And recently it's gotten worse. And Bill Maher said something, someone asked someone on the street, who's the first person to walk on the sun? And they came up with some crazy ass, thing. So
I heard that one.
The education system is so beyond you. I don't think we can wrap. We have a decent education here in Fairfield County, but I don't think people can wrap their mind around how dopey and dumb the American public are. Sorry, whoever's listening. You probably won't think you're part of that.
That's intentional.
Yeah,
I know it is. I know.
Who votes for Democrats? It's the more educated people that go to college, and
why didn't they promote education back in the K through 12 should be teaching civics, critical thinking, science. They can do this. I know states have the power over this, but with financial incentives, they can do this. And I don't think they had the will either, because I don't think they want an intelligent public either.
This could be part of it. Yeah. Have you ever been on at Bill Maher, or have you guys approached Bill?
We've tried. Even Matthew Modine, the co-narrator and one of the producers, he tried. He goes, Bill Maher changed his phone number. I don't know why Bill Maher won't have me on. I'm kind of relieved because I'd probably be nervous, but he should have me on.
Absolutely. No, it's a
movie.
Well, anyway, no, it's a wonderful movie. And how do you, and also love the poster. Bill Plimpton, the wonderful cartoonist, did your poster, which I have a signed copy of. So
did you get Source Books to send you a digital copy of the book?
No.
Oh.
No, I didn't get that.
Oh, you should ask her.
So I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I'm sorry I can't reference it, but I know. Okay, yeah, I will. But so yeah, well, and then just the filmmaking part of it, because we're both, Trace has made films, and I do little, stuff for YouTube but occasionally. But so did you go to film school? I mean, did you apply what you learned to their documentary, or was it one of those things where you learn, like, what were they talking about? This has nothing, did your education help you?
I went to Pratt.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I studied communications, but I started out as a painter and fashion illustration, and then ended up in like doing presentation work, for corporations. But all of that, and so I didn't go to film school, but I found that when I studied something in particular, it restricted me too much. So I just kind of learned on my own. Like, I would volunteer on films and do anything. And I would do anything they asked. So I started producing little shorts for the people I would work with. Like, when you work in a presentation center, in a corporation, almost everybody in that presentation center is like an artist or a writer or an actor or something like that. So you got people that are making films. So I had the opportunity to learn, and I would just ask people. I'm really good at asking people questions, probably annoyingly so.
Yeah, that's you. But did you know Matthew Modine from before, or you kind of recruited him from somewhere?
Oh, I always admired him.
Yeah.
Like, psyched. What happened is, I see Adam Rakoff and Matthew Modine, they are a team. They have a production company called Cinco Dedos de Películas. And
it's easy to remember.
And they volunteered their time. Well, Adam would get paid, but they worked for Bill. They would do stuff for Bill Plimpton. Maybe Matthew would do a voice, and Adam would help him run Kickstarter campaigns or, whatever. And so when I was running my Kickstarter campaign, Bill was running his. And somebody suggested that I ask Bill if Adam could mention our Kickstarter campaign. And so then he, of course, had to go to the site and checked out the trailer. And then the next thing I know, he and Matthew want to be involved, because I think Matthew recognized back then the dire direction that the country was going in if he wasn't,
Well,
so that's how that happened. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to, and afterwards I'll put up the poster so people can see what we're talking about. But it's a wonderful poster of a frightened, bulging-eyed, apparently your father is only sitting in a chair holding a remote, and the elephant, the Republican GOP elephant, is shooting, lasers through his brain.
Bill has a sick mind and a great way.
So the next, I'm sorry. Did we ever get to? Did you have another movie? Well, you're getting through the book first, but do you things percolating for another documentary?
I have to feel passionate towards it. I have to wait till I'm moved. People keep saying, "Well, what about part 2, part 3?" I just feel like this is still my passion right now. And I have to focus on this. And so I'm more slid into activism. So that's what I'm doing. There might be another time. I did actually start another little documentary called The Absurdity of the Lawn.
The Lawn?
Of the Lawn. Yeah.
LAWN or LOIN?
Oh, no. LAWN.
Oh, okay.
Which was about, because I would visit my parents in the suburbs, and I would see like here I'm at my mom's senior community, and they waste so much water just to keep this green stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then people are always cutting it, and then they put poison in the earth, and then like lakes get poisoned and animals die. And it just suddenly struck me as absurd. Like that, you got these like men in their 50s and 60s, like out there sweating, with a lawnmower, for what? Like grow a garden or something. So I started interviewing people, like in those communities, like, why is a lawn important to you? And I found some other people that did not have a typical lawn, but were growing things that were like indigenous to the area, wildflowers or gardens or, something like that. So I started that. Maybe I'll go back to that someday, but it's probably too late for that anyhow, too.
How about for a title, Law and Order?
Boom, boom.
Chunk, chunk. Is your dad still alive?
He passed away the year the movie came out. They had nothing to do with each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got to see the movie, and he was.
But he saw it, and he was okay. I mean, was that a hurdle to get your family on board to be able to sort of tell that tale?
No, no. I think my dad thought he was fascinating. So the only time he minded the camera was if he was eating. But no, he was proud of me.
Oh, so he never argued with you like you're crazy. You don't know. Like.
Well, he converted, right? I mean, not converted. He kind of settled back.
Yeah, but that was because the media that he had was taken away, and that proves another point that I try to show in my book and in my movie, that like I get all these people on Twitter that say, "Oh, these people that watch Fox and listen to Breitbart and all this, they're drawn to because that's the way they were." And I'm like, not necessarily. Maybe some, yeah, but no, people really can change, and they really, like people in a cult, right?
Yeah.
Change. I mean, you have people that convert to Judaism, people convert to Catholicism. Why is it so hard to imagine that information going in and out, the same information going out in? That's what brainwashing is. So,
in corporate, I've never heard anyone make the parallel. Corporations spend billions of dollars to brainwash you into running out and buying their cereal or their vodka or their cigarette or their car. That's what it's repetitive. It's incessant. It's panders to your visual pleasure and all this stuff. And that's what it is. And that's, And
I mean, they wouldn't be spending billions a year if they thought it had no effect.
Absolutely. So it's the same principle, but and somebody, they've applied it to politics, and the right wing has done it a lot better than the others.
And that's where education comes in.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter, Pavia, had a class at Barlow where they taught them about commercials and how it's manipulative. This is back in elementary school. This is the kind of thing they should be teaching like in every classroom in the country. Yeah. So people can critically think and look at these campaigns and information and decide, make more intelligent appraisals of what they're saying.
There was a book when I was in school, I was probably 12, 13, I don't know, it wasn't even high school. It was a junior high school, Vance Packard, called The Hidden Persuaders.
Oh, yeah. That was my favorite book, for decades.
I mean, this goes way, we're talking 50 years ago.
Yeah.
I did a whole book on how advertisements, print, and then was probably more prevalent even than TV commercials, affected our minds and the way we behave.
Yeah.
The Hidden Persuaders.
Colors, everything. Yeah. So.
What's the name of the author?
Vance Packard. V as in Victor, Vance Packard, like the car.
Yeah, that was one of the most important. I remember reading that, and I went a junior high, and that was like, everyone should be reading this book.
Yeah, subliminal messaging, not even the technical kind, just subliminal stuff of the way the way things were spoken and the
words, colors, shapes of packaging.
And it was a revelation. And
wow. When you go to art school, you kind of learn that too.
Yeah.
But you're trying to be persuasive or affect people.
Sure. But in your personal art, that's one thing. But if you're trying to sell,
cigarettes to minors,
vapes, vaping to minors, it's a different story. But
oh, what a world!
And what are we going to do? They take this and start on one end, make a joke when I'm done. So this is such a bummer, but like QAnon, they're in 80 countries now with that crazy conspiracy theories that Democrats, are cannibals and they're pedophiles at the same time. And nobody hears these things and balances out, how many cannibals do you think there are in the world and how many pedophiles? And what's the chance of a pedophile also being a cannibal or vice versa? And they don't
the cannibal thing.
Pardon?
I hadn't heard the cannibal.
Yeah, they eat babies, right, Miggs?
Yeah. Well, there was that whole thing with Hillary Clinton and the pizza parlor in New York. You heard that thing, didn't you? Where she was
a pedophile.
The pedophile ring.
Yeah.
But there was
these Republicans are coming out. You're discovering they're all pedophiles.
Yeah. They're usually
that was discovered to be a pedophile. It's maybe one or two compared to a dozen I could think of.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's always, projecting onto the other, taking attention to themselves.
Exactly.
That's a tactic. Accuse them first. It's a Joseph Goebbels special.
Oh, is it? Okay. That's where it originated. Yeah. It's amazing how far back these principles go of manipulation and the brainwashing, of course, is a war technique, but it's repetition. And any last things you want to put out there about what's going on with you or where you can be seen or heard it's the brainwashingofmydad.com is the website.
Right. And I want to ask Trace, where would you go? Okay. Let's say Donald Trump becomes president for life. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could live here. Yeah. So I think, where would I go?
This is a good question. I was almost going to ask you something similar. Where would I go? I would go, to Europe. There's a lot of cool cities, Amsterdam, and there's Portugal, and I would check out their politics and stuff. But I'd probably go to Europe, one of those European cities, Barcelona or something.
Yeah.
Canada's close too. I don't think they're on
and with global warming, it won't be so cold.
Yes. That's right. To bring your puffy jacket.
Yeah. So I have got a couple other things I just want to say.
Please.
I just wanted to say that there are some groups that people, if they want to help, and they must help. If you like a way of life, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Right, because
there's Sue Wilson of Media Action Center has a very good list of things you can do on her website called SueWilsonReports.com.
Okay.
And she's amazing. She just wrote a report to the FCC. And then I used to feel alone, but now I'm kind of happy that now there's these little groups and they're just seedlings, but hopefully that's why I'm trying to bring attention to them. There's another group called DDAD, DDAD, Defenders of Democracy Against Disinformation, and their site is called stopdisinformation.org. You can't Google them because they're kind of trying to keep sort of a low profile.
Oh, okay.
You can actually go to their website. The website's stopdisinformation.org. And so they're really organized. These people organize the way I never could. They've got 3 campaigns just right now that they're starting with. One is called Change the Channel. And it's a nationwide effort to ask public places to kindly change the channel from Fox to anything
Oh,
else.
yeah. I hate that when it's on in the gym. Oh,
Same. I see that everywhere.
Yeah. So if you go to their website, they actually have videos and examples of, sometimes it's hard to say something, like examples of what you could say in situations that you might run across, and then leave behinds you could print out and cut out and put together. So, and then they're going to have an interactive map that you can put on your phone. And when you ask a place, you just hit, you enter that place, and then the map hopefully will get it to light up all over. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one is Fix Fox Now, which is, a lot of them are they're shareholders in Fox. So a vote is coming up soon. So it's a shareholder resolution to ask Fox to register as a public benefit media corporation. Public benefit.
What does that mean?
Corporation. And this would put obligation for truth over profit. Like right now, it's profit. Then the other one, I don't want to take up all your time, but $2 for Truth campaign. It's a little civil disobedience. You switch to any non-auto pay method and subtract the $2 that goes to Fox every month, or you can just cut the cable cord. So, that's how they make 60% of their money. They don't make it that much from the advertising. They got all these great deals together, and they charge $2 a month. Okay, and then I just have a couple more.
Important.
Rise and Resist. That was what I did last Tuesday. Oh my God, what day is it today? I can't remember whether it was this Tuesday or last Tuesday.
COVID brain. Yeah, we all have.
But every Tuesday they are in front of a Fox station, like broadcasting station, and in New York, and they have all these signs like Fox Lies, Fox Divides America, Fox Hurts Families, Fox Kills. So they're a really good group. And then one last one. I think it's called Blue Wave Brigade, and I'm just finding out about that, but they are really awesome. And, I go on all these Zooms and learn and participate where I can. That's what I do now.
What was that called? Blue Wave? I didn't hear that.
Blue Wave Brigade. Yeah. And then, buy my book, please.
Yes.
Your audience.
Same, and look and rent the movie or buy the movie with The Brainwashing of My Dad.
Yeah, it's streaming in a lot of places, or they can email me if they still do DVDs and want a DVD. But, if they go to the website, they can figure out how to buy the book from independent media. They don't have to go to Amazon. And then, they can stream the movie from all these other places as well. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Let's hope for the best.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Jen.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome.
Appreciate your time. Thanks.
Yeah. Bye.
Good to be with you. Bye.